Welcome, dear viewers. Leave your shadows behind, for we dive into the world of Interview with the Vampire, where every silence is eternity. For this nocturnal passage, I have the honor to welcome the scent of a burned theater. Here is Armand, a ceremonial vampire whose eternal youth conceals the ruins of a millennium.
For centuries, and yet, I still recall the fear within mortal eyes. You invite me to speak. It is to offer you the quiet song of eternity.
If you behold this video, congratulations. You have just come into contact with the nocturnal reflections of a forgotten century. Do not hesitate to mark your passage a like, a subscription, a comment, even if you are a spectator of the twilight. Each interaction is a drop of blood in the veins of the algorithm. And Rice imagines a vampire who comes not to bite, but to confess his life. 2 years later, this obsession becomes a novel, Interview with the Vampire, a blazing success. Paramount buys the rights, but the project stalls until David Geffen revives it in the 90s, with Anne Rice on the script and a colossal budget. 3 stars embody this fresco: 3 faces, 3 damnations, 3 eternal icons. The film overturns the image of the predatory vampire. He listens, he questions. The viewer plunges into the intimacy of the immortal, discovering solitude, passions, and regrets. Here, one contemplates a soul frozen in time, torn between desire and damnation. Tom Cruise shapes a flamboyant Lestat. Antonio Banderas portrays a spectral Armand. Brad Pitt carries a melancholic Louis. In its silences, the film finds its breath, its lost humanity. And it is there that the work transcends the myth. It transforms the creature into a mirror of our own darkness. Neil Jordan, master of atmospheres, brings the fresco to life. With 60 million, The Vampire becomes a blockbuster. The shooting stretches from San Francisco to New Orleans, but it is in London, in winter and night, that the plot crystallizes. Darkness becomes the set, mist its partner. The effects, entrusted to Winston Studio, offer faces that do not shine, but bleed slowly in the light. Shortened by 20 minutes, the film asserts itself in 1994. 230 million at the box office, more than 1.6 million admissions in France, Oscars, and Saturn Awards. But beyond the numbers, it is the themes that resonate: human monstrosity, sacrificed innocence, cursed immortality. More intimate than Coppola's Dracula, it imposes a muted melancholy. Here, the vampire does not roar, he confesses. Gothic fresco and romantic drama, the story explores forbidden desires and LGBTQ+ echoes. Claudia, the tragic child vampire, embodies innocence frozen in blood. Death and melancholy intertwine to open a rare portal, that of the soul. Dear Armand, you have crossed the centuries. What do you miss most from your mortal life?
The thrill of a breath upon the skin, the trembling of a hand that hesitates. Fragility, it had a taste that eternity does not know.
And if you could choose to close this chapter, to become mortal again, would you do it?
No, for in the night, there is a truth the day cannot offer. I am what time has sculpted, and I deny no scar.
The veil is lifted. The opening incantations are over. We enter the heart of the supernatural. What the film summons, what it whispers to the entities. The ritual is begun. Let the critique commence. A large-scale production with Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, Christian Slater, and Kirsten Dunst still a child. An intimate context on vampires, treated with originality and a sophisticated atmosphere for a grand spectacle. Flamboyant Lestat and tragic Claudia dominate the screen, carried by sumptuous sets. No demon hunts, no stakes, no crosses. It is the art of living of immortals that prevails. The strange and magnificent opening credits unfold with splendid images and sumptuous settings, launching intrigue and dialogue. The characters describe the context in a troubling atmosphere, sliding toward the 18th century. The narrative resumes its rhythm, structured like a grand spectacle. From the first events, a skillful transition unites the two protagonists in a violent transformation with striking effects. Shock images follow one another, captivating, before the rhythm calms for a more linear action. And in this alternation, the night breathes between crash and silence. The sets change, the violence quickens, and the dialogues exhaust themselves in a remarkable execution. Tension feeds the dark gift, revealing the nature of vampires and their metamorphoses. Unexpected details accumulate, spreading an incredible situation. 30 years pass, conflicts intensify, and the aesthetics reach their peak. Sumptuous images, frightening atmosphere, striking close-ups. The adventure keeps growing, steeped in a gothic ambience. Bloody events trigger a headlong flight toward Paris, where the theater of vampires emerges. The pace accelerates, linking the novel to the mystical stage. The plot advances through questions and long dialogues, unveiling damnation. Relationships develop, details pile up, and the violence of the creatures explodes. The trajectory of the vampires ends in terrible horror, with a finale that closes the introduction. This outcome inscribes the film among the great vampiric frescoes. And in this loop, blood becomes memory, the eternal confession. In conclusion, the film beats in two tempos, like the heart of an immortal. The first part, carried by Lestat, is sumptuous and enchanting. Majestic sets, sharp dialogues, flamboyant metamorphoses. A macabre, theatrical dance, carved in velvet and blood. The second part slows its breath, sinks into vampiric conscience, questioning solitude and the weight of centuries. The rhythm dissolves, the intensity fades, and the fresco loses its power. It begins in lightning and ends in mist. And for my verdict, I give the score of 14 out of 20. A great film, carried by a sumptuous and rhythmic first part. But the second, more introspective, weakens the momentum. Here ends the critique, a tale whispered by candlelight. If you have stayed, it means you have crossed the centuries without losing your soul. Subscribe. It is safer than making a pact with an immortal with a beguiling gaze. Other creatures will haunt your nights. Thank you and see you very soon.